In this video, I'd like to show you how to use Arizona rock and mineral products to ballast your track. Now, before you actually start the ballasting process, you might want to do a little bit of prep work in order to get your tracks ready. You'll see here on this little example that I have raised the track by using foam, or you could use cork, and then gluing the track on top of it. In order to glue the track, I just use a basic interior construction adhesive called Power Grab by Loctite, although there's a number of different products that would get the job done. By gluing the track on cork or foam, it gives it a contour similar to what you'd find on most mainline tracks in America. If, however, you don't have the money for that, or you'd like to keep it simple, perhaps you're modeling low-use trackage or an industrial spur, in that case you could simply just glue the track directly to your layout surface. Now, once you've got the track secured to your surface, you might want to do a little bit of weathering. You'll note again that the basic track looks almost toy-like. You don't have to get too involved to add a lot of improvements to its appearance. I simply sprayed it using weathered wood Rust-Oleum spray paint, and then on the edges I added some Pan Pastel's rust-colored paints. Really, it's up to you, but it does go a long way in improving the overall look of your layout. Now, once you have the contour and the color that you want, you're all ready to start with the ballasting process. The first thing you're going to want to do is choose the type of ballast that you'd like to use. And this is a fun thing to do because you can bring out a lot of your railroad's character by carefully choosing the color. In fact, I think this is one of the main places that Arizona rock and mineral really shines. For our purposes today, I'll use Chicago and Northwestern mauve. It's a color very typical to what you'd see on the lines near where I grew up. Once you've got your ballast color chosen, you'll need to add it to your track. Now, there are a couple of ways that you could go about doing this. There are a number of different products available that can help add the rock to your tracks in a very even fashion. I actually have an example of one here called the HO Ballast Spreader. I haven't had a ton of luck with these, so I think the easiest way to do this is to simply dump rock on your track and then spread it out. So I have some of the Arizona rock and mineral product, and I'm just going to add it, first of all, down the middle of the track. And then I'm going to add it to the sides. Now, when it comes to measuring it out for your layout, you can expect about one bag to cover 6 feet of track. All depends how thickly you put it on it and how wide you want the ballast to be. The important thing is making sure that you keep it as neat as possible. Now, you can use a couple different tools to spread it out. You could use foam brushes available at many craft stores, or you could use a soft bristled paintbrush. Sometimes both of these come in handy as you try to get that nice finished look. Spread it out over your track. And the big thing you're going to try to do here is try to make sure it stays off the surfaces of the ties and definitely off of the rails. It's a little picky, but sometimes the extra effort in making it neat goes a long way in the finished product. It's looking pretty good here. It looks like most of the ties are realistically showing, and I've covered up most of the cork and the edge, so you get that contour, but you don't see it showing through. Okay, now already you can see what an improvement this is over the basic track that we started with. It looks good, but it's not very stable. So in order to get it to stay fast and to be able to move it around or bump it without getting messed up, you're going to have to secure it. Before you can secure it though, you're going to need to prepare the rocks. I simply use 70% isopropyl alcohol and I stick it inside of an old contact solution bottle that allows me to dribble it all over the surface of the tracks. And there's nothing too fancy about this, just try to cover all the area. Using alcohol does break the surface tension so that when you add the glue, it'll flow nicely over the whole area. Okay, looks like that's pre-coated. Now it's time to add the glue. I use a product called Mod Podge, but I water it down 3 parts water to 1 part glue. Again, it goes in an old contact solution bottle. Shake it up to make sure it's nice and mixed. And again, you'll just want to flood the surface. Make sure it's all covered, don't leave too much pooling. If there are areas where it has started to pool, you can simply take a regular paper towel and dab some of the extra off, just lightly touching it. You'd be surprised though that it does have a tendency to disappear on its own. Now the next part is the easiest part. Simply leave it to dry, and then by the next morning it should be nice and dry and hard, and you can continue moving on with building your model railroad. Hope this helps you as you use the Arizona rock and mineral products and helps you make your track even more realistic.